On a muddy city afternoon, Papa Thomas, an elderly man in tattered clothes, sits calmly by the roadside, only to be drenched by a speeding Range Rover driven by the haughty Vanessa. Her cruel words, "This isn't your village, old man," spark outrage among onlookers, but Papa Thomas, serene and wise, simply says, "Let God judge." Unbeknownst to Vanessa, this humble man is no beggar but the father of Bernard, a wealthy bachelor seeking a worthy wife. As Vanessa flaunts her arrogance, a kind and courageous woman, Mary, steps into Papa Thomas's life, defending him and offering hope through a shared dream of farming. Their chance encounters unravel a tale of hidden identities, betrayal, and a sinister plot that threatens to destroy everything. Will Mary's pure heart triumph over Vanessa's vicious schemes? It was a rainy afternoon in the city, leaving the streets muddy and full of puddles. An elderly man, Papa Thomas, sat calmly on a wooden bench by the roadside. His clothing was worn, and his slippers were tattered, yet he appeared serene. He had just finished cleaning the area in front of a small shop and was taking a break before heading home. Abruptly, a black Range Rover sped through the narrow street. Without reducing speed, it plowed through a large puddle, splashing Papa Thomas with muddy water from head to toe. The old man gasped and tried to clean his face with his hand, but his shirt, pants, and slippers were already soaked with brown water. Nearby onlookers paused, stunned. "Hey, look at what you did!" a woman yelled at the car. The vehicle didn't stop immediately. It slowed briefly before halting a few steps away. The tinted window lowered, and a haughty female voice called out, "You shouldn't sit so close to the road, old man. This isn't your village." The window then closed, and the car raced away. The crowd fell quiet for a moment. "Did she really just say that?" a man asked, astonished. "Cruel woman," another woman exclaimed. "She couldn't even apologize?" "That's too much," someone else remarked. "Papa Thomas is always so gentle and kind. Why treat him this way?" But Papa Thomas raised a hand and said softly, "It's all right. Let her be. God will judge." Meanwhile, Vanessa, the woman in the Range Rover, pulled into a high-end shopping mall. As she entered, her phone vibrated. She snapped a selfie and shared it online with the caption, "The strong triumph over the weak." Hashtag Boss Queen. Comments flooded in quickly. "Slay Queen of Queens. Show them." She grinned with pride. To her, the incident was trivial. She believed poor people were worthless, voiceless, and obstacles in her path. Her life was built on arrogance, trampling over those she deemed inferior. That evening, Papa Thomas returned home, weary but composed. He stepped into the spacious living room of their elegant mansion. Despite his simple attire and frequent visits to poorer areas, his son Bernard was a wealthy man. Their home was adorned with luxurious furniture, plush carpets, and costly artwork, but these held little value for the old man. Bernard, seated on the couch with his tablet, noticed his father's appearance. "Papa, what's wrong with your shirt?" he asked. "It looks like you had a rough day." Papa Thomas sat down slowly and shook his head. "Bernard, I encountered the rudest woman today." Bernard sighed. "Papa again? Why do you keep going out there? You don't need to sit by the road or chat with strangers. You live in a mansion now. You have everything." Papa Thomas gazed at his son with steady eyes. "I won't stop, Bernard. Not until I find a good wife for you." Bernard set his tablet down. "Papa, are we back to this?" "Yes," Papa Thomas said firmly. "You're 36 years old. You need a wife who will build a life with you, not just bask in your wealth." Bernard rubbed his forehead, exasperated. "Papa, I have a girlfriend." The old man turned sharply. "You do?" "Yes, I've been seeing someone." "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "I didn't want to rush it," Bernard replied. "But since you're bringing it up, I'll share." Papa Thomas leaned in. "So who is she? Where's she from? What does she do?" Bernard gave a small smile. "You'll meet her soon, don't worry. She's very beautiful." The old man raised an eyebrow. "Beauty isn't everything, son." "I know, Papa, but there's an issue." "What issue?" Bernard paused before answering. "She's rude, Papa, very rude." Papa Thomas leaned back slowly. "She belittles people," Bernard went on. "She's arrogant, thinks everyone's beneath her, and worst of all, She's reckless with money. I give her funds, and she buys unnecessary things, expensive clothes, shoes, bags, just to flaunt. Papa Thomas shook his head silently. So why stay with her? Bernard looked away. I don't know. Maybe her beauty. Maybe I thought I could change her. She's smart, and sometimes, when she's calm, she's sweet. But when she's angry or feels slighted, she's a different person. His father was silent for a moment, then asked, Does she respect you? Sometimes. Does she respect herself? Bernard didn't respond. Papa Thomas sighed deeply. Bernard, hear me. I've observed women my whole life. I could tell their character from their walk and talk. You need a wife who brings peace to your home, not chaos. Someone who helps you grow, not squanders your efforts. I know, Papa, you're right. Then bring her here. Let me meet her myself. I want to speak with her, look in her eyes. If I see humility, I'll bless your union. If I see pride, I'll be honest, even if it stings. Bernard nodded slowly. All right, Papa, I'll talk to her. Maybe she can visit this weekend. Good, the old man said. But don't prepare her. Let her come as herself. I want to see her true nature, not a public facade. Bernard chuckled. You want to catch her off guard? No, Papa Thomas said calmly. I want her to reveal herself. As Bernard rose to fetch water, his father watched him with quiet concern. He was proud of his son. Bernard was intelligent, successful, and kind, but love could blind even the wisest. On another hot afternoon, Papa Thomas sat quietly outside a large supermarket in his simple clothes, a plastic bowl before him. Some tossed coins, others ignored him. He didn't beg, he simply sat. Then a sound interrupted. A black Range Rover screeched to a stop nearby. Vanessa stepped out, dark sunglasses on, loud music blaring from her car. Spotting Papa Thomas, she sneered and approached. You again, she snapped. You old, filthy man. Why do you keep shaming your generation? She didn't wait for an answer. Do you like sitting? Here like a fool? Poor people like you have no dignity. Papa Thomas remained silent. Look at your clothes, your face. Worthless man. Maybe you're cursed. Still no response. You're why Nigeria lags behind. Sitting here, waiting for handouts instead of fading away quietly. She spat near his feet. You disgust me. At that moment, a young woman carrying 2 grocery bags emerged from the supermarket. She stopped, observed, then dropped her bags. That's enough, she said. Vanessa turned. Who are you? Someone with sense, Mary replied. Vanessa laughed. Another poor nobody trying to act important. You're insulting an old man for no reason, Mary said sharply. What has he done to you? He exists, Vanessa snapped. That's his crime. Poor, dirty men like him don't belong out here. Mary stepped closer. He's old enough to be your father. So what? Vanessa yelled. Is he my father? Look at him. Probably yours. You both look poor. Mary's eyes narrowed. Maybe he is, but at least he's not hollow like you. Vanessa laughed again. Do you know who I am? My boyfriend? I could have you arrested in 2 minutes. Mary didn't flinch. Arrest me for asking you to respect an elder? I'm rich. I can do whatever I want, Vanessa shouted. No, you're just loud, not rich in character, Mary retorted. You're jealous. I'm clean, I'm classy. Mary scoffed. You're just noise with lipstick, nothing more. Vanessa's expression shifted. She stepped forward. You dare speak to me like that? Yes, because no one taught you manners. You'll regret this, Vanessa threatened. Mary replied calmly. One day this man you insulted will be someone you'll bow to. Vanessa's hands trembled. Mary pointed. Take your arrogant self and go. Vanessa glared, lips tight, face flushed, then stormed to her car, slammed the door, and sped off. Mary turned to Papa Thomas. I'm sorry, sir. He looked at her kindly. Thank you, my daughter. She smiled. I couldn't let her speak to you like that. He nodded slowly. Few people stand up like you did. Mary glanced around, then stepped closer. Papa, what's your name? Thomas, he said simply. Folks call me Papa Thomas. She sat beside him. I'm Mary. He smiled. Lovely name. She looked into his eyes. Papa, where do you live? He hesitated, then said softly. I sleep in an empty shop at the town's edge. The owner lets me stay. It's not much, but it keeps the rain off. Mary's face fell. Oh, Papa, I'm so sorry. He shook his head. gently. No need. Life has its phases. I may be poor, but I have peace. You seem too wise to be out here, Papa. He gave a faint smile. Life teaches wisdom when you have little. She studied him, then said, Papa, I studied agriculture. I'm a graduate, but I've been jobless for a year. My parents are poor farmers in the village. He nodded slowly. You're making an effort. I was thinking, she continued, instead of sitting here, maybe I can help you start a small farm behind the shop. We could grow simple crops, peppers, tomatoes, vegetables. You'd have food, and we could sell the surplus. Papa Thomas looked surprised. You'd help me farm? Yes, Papa, she said. I have no job, but I have strength. I can work. It's better than waiting. You'd eat fresh food and wouldn't need to beg for coins. He sat quietly, thinking deeply. You're too kind, he said softly. She shook her head. No, Papa. I believe good people deserve help too. He looked at her. You barely know me. She smiled. I know enough. You stayed silent when she insulted you. That silence spoke volumes. Papa Thomas smiled faintly. You're unique. I try, she said. He nodded. I'll consider it, Mary. Think quick, she teased. We could start with a small batch of okra. It could make a difference. They both chuckled softly. Mary stood, grabbed her bags, and waved. All right, Papa. See you tomorrow. He nodded. I'll be here. Good, she said. Don't disappear. She walked away, smiling. Papa Thomas leaned back, watching her leave. A feeling stirred in him. Not sorrow, not shame, but hope. He looked skyward and whispered, Lord, is she the one? Papa Thomas entered the house, a broad smile on his face. The heavy wooden door shut behind him, and he quietly removed his sandals. The mansion was calm and cool. He glanced around and saw his son in the living room. He cleared his throat. Bernard. Yes, Papa. I met someone today. Bernard looked up. Who? Papa Thomas walked over and sat down. Bernard, today I met the most beautiful, respectful, well-mannered woman I've ever known. Bernard raised his eyebrows. Really? Yes, and I'm not talking about makeup, hair, or fancy shoes. I mean a pure heart, a woman with wisdom, dignity, and courage. Bernard leaned back. All right, what happened? I was outside the supermarket. That same arrogant woman came again, the one who insults me like I'm nothing. She unleashed all sorts of shameful words on me today. Bernard clenched his fist slightly. Again. Yes, Papa Thomas said, smiling, but something different happened. A young woman saw it, and before I could speak, she defended me. She did. Yes, Bernard. She confronted that proud woman fearlessly. She didn't yell like a lunatic. Her words were sharp but poised, full of fire and wisdom. The rude woman had no choice but to leave in shame. Bernard was quiet. Afterward, Papa Thomas continued. She sat with me. She didn't hurry or act superior. She asked if I was okay, like I mattered. What's her name? Bernard asked. Mary. Mary. Yes. I told her I was a poor man with no home. She didn't mock or judge. Guess what she said? Bernard waited. She said, Papa, I can help you. Bernard looked surprised. She's a graduate, studied agriculture, no job yet. Her parents are farmers too, but instead of complaining, she offered to start a small farm with me, to find peace through work. Papa, you're kidding, Bernard said softly. I'm very serious, Papa Thomas replied. You know I've always wanted to farm again. You told me to stop, said I was too old. But Bernard, farming is my joy in my life. Bernard looked down silent. Papa Thomas leaned forward. This girl, Mary, reminded me of who I used to be. She brought light to my heart today and gave me hope again. Bernard rubbed his chin slowly. I'm telling you this, Bernard, Papa Thomas added, not for permission, but because I've seen something rare. That girl is gold. She may lack money, but her character is priceless. Bernard looked up. Papa, yes. I didn't want to mention, but my girlfriend is coming tomorrow. Papa Thomas leaned back. What's that to me? Bernard paused. She wants to meet you. That's not my concern, Papa Thomas said firmly. Today, I met a woman who made me forget rudeness exists, someone who respected me without knowing my status. Your girlfriend may come tomorrow, but I've already seen the kind of woman the world needs. Bernard fell silent. I've watched you, Papa Thomas continued. You're rich but lonely. You have houses but no joy, friends but no peace. A wife should bring peace, Bernard, not noise, pride, or trouble. I understand, Papa. No, you don't, Papa Thomas said calmly. You say you have a girlfriend, but I don't know her roots, her beliefs, how she treats others. You say she's beautiful. Fine, but can beauty nourish the heart? Bernard looked away. Let me tell you, the old man continued. When I was young, I wanted to marry the prettiest girl in my village. My mother warned me, but I ignored her. That girl had an angelic face, but a vicious tongue. She nearly destroyed me. What happened? She left, and it was the best thing that ever happened. Then I met your mother. She wasn't the most beautiful, but her heart was pure, her hands diligent. Her love built our family. Bernard swallowed hard. So, you're saying Mary is— I'm not saying anything yet, Papa Thomas replied. I'm just saying, don't bring me chaos tomorrow and expect me to smile. I've seen peace today. Okay, Papa, let your girlfriend come. Let her show me who she is. But I won't pretend. If I see pride, I'll call it out. Bernard stood quietly and nodded. I respect that. Papa Thomas smiled. Good. I've done my part. Tomorrow we'll see. The next morning was calm. Papa Thomas had bathed and sat in the living room, dressed in clean, simple clothes. His face was serene, but his heart was restless. He kept thinking of Mary, her words echoing, Papa, I can help you. He smiled to himself. Footsteps sounded. Bernard walked in and stood by him. Papa, yes. She's on her way. Papa Thomas looked ahead. Let her come. Soon a car sound filled the compound. Papa Thomas stayed still. The door opened slowly, high heels clicking on the floor. Vanessa entered, pride radiating, handbags swinging. She surveyed the house, impressed. Nice place, she said. Not as modern as mine, but decent. Her eyes fell on the old man on the couch. She froze, her smile fading. Papa Thomas looked at her, silent. Bernard stood between them, confused. Papa, this is— I know her, Papa Thomas said coldly. Vanessa swallowed hard. You? Yes, he replied calmly. We've met twice. Bernard looked at her. You know my father? Vanessa's lips trembled. I didn't know he was your father. Papa Thomas leaned forward. You didn't need to. You just needed to show respect. Bernard's face changed. What's he talking about? Papa Thomas turned to his son. This is the woman who splashed mud on me by the road and insulted me. She called me useless, mocked my poverty. She did it again at the supermarket yesterday. Bernard turned slowly to Vanessa. She was speechless. Is this true? He asked. I didn't know he was your father, she said quickly. You didn't need to know, Bernard replied. You insulted an old man in public. Twice. I thought he was a beggar, she shouted. He's a human being, Bernard snapped. Even if he was a beggar. Is that how you treat people? I didn't mean it that way, she said, her voice low. Papa Thomas stood slowly. You didn't mean it, but you said it. You shamed me because I looked poor. You acted like you owned the world, but now this old man is the father of the man you claim to love. Vanessa opened her mouth, but no words came. Tell me, Papa Thomas asked, if you'd known, would you have acted differently? Yes, she said softly. Then you're not truly kind, he replied. Real kindness doesn't depend on who's watching. Vanessa's eyes welled with tears. Please, sir, I'm sorry. Papa Thomas shook his head. You're not sorry for what you did. You're sorry because of who I am. Bernard was silent, breathing heavily, his eyes sharp with disappointment. You said you were bold, he told Vanessa. You said you loved me. I do. No, you love yourself, he said. The woman who loves me would respect my father. Vanessa dropped her bag. Please, Bernard. He looked at her one last time, then turned away. Papa, he said, I've made a mistake. Vanessa approached Papa Thomas slowly. Please forgive me. He looked at her calmly. Forgiveness is easy, but trust is not. You had a chance to show your true self, and you did. She wiped her tears. I can change. He nodded. Good. Start by changing how you treat those who can't benefit you. She picked up her bag and left. The room fell silent. Papa Thomas sat down. Bernard sat beside him. Papa. Yes. Mary. Yes. Where is she now? Papa Thomas smiled gently. She's coming to the supermarket tomorrow. The next morning, Bernard left home quietly, needing fresh air to clear his mind. Vanessa's actions replayed in his head like a film. He couldn't believe the woman he once loved insulted his father twice. His heart was heavy. He drove alone, no driver, no assistant, just his thoughts. He didn't know where he was headed. He just needed to breathe. Eventually, he parked near a quiet area by a small plot of land behind local shops. He stepped out, walked a bit, and sat on a bench under a mango tree. The sun was rising, the breeze gentle. For the first time in days, he felt calm. Then he noticed a young woman nearby, standing by a narrow patch of land, checking the soil. She held a bag of seeds and a small hoe. Dressed simply, hair tied back, no makeup or flashy clothes, she had a warm presence. She knelt, tested the soil, then stood. Bernard watched silently. After a few minutes, she noticed him and smiled. "Good morning." "Good morning," Bernard replied. She approached. "Are you from here?" "No, just passing through. Needed a break." She nodded. "Me too, well, not really. I'm planting a small farm here." Bernard looked at the land. "You? Farming?" She laughed. "Yes, why not? Most young women I know wouldn't touch a hoe." She smiled. "I'm different. I studied agriculture, no job yet, but I have strong hands." Bernard was impressed. "That's unusual." She dropped her bag and offered her hand. "I'm Mary." He shook it. "Bernard." They smiled. She sat on a nearby rock. "I'm helping an old man. He has no real home, but he's kind and wise, like my father." Bernard turned. "Really?" "Yes. I met him yesterday. A woman was insulting him, and I couldn't stay quiet, so I stood up for him." Bernard's heart skipped a beat. Mary continued. "After, I learned he doesn't beg. He just sits observing. So I offer to help him start a farm, so he can eat fresh food and feel useful." Bernard looked at her intently. She spoke with calm, not boasting. "I wish more people thought like you," he said. She laughed. "We're out there, just not loud. You live nearby." "No, I take the bus from across town. It's tough, but I can't sit idle." Bernard nodded. "That's admirable." She looked at him. "What do you do?" He hesitated. "Business." "Oh, business," the classic Nigerian answer. They both laughed. "I won't pry," she said. "You seem like you got a lot on your mind." Bernard smiled. "You're right." She stood. "I need to plant these seeds before it gets too hot." He stood too. "Can I help?" She raised an eyebrow. "You with your clean shoes and soft hands?" "I can learn." She smiled. "All right, let's start with okra." And so, they began. Two strangers, different worlds, one small farm. It was late afternoon. Papa Thomas sat at his usual supermarket spot, eyes soft, thoughts distant. He wasn't focused on money or food, but on Mary, her kindness, courage, and words. A cheerful voice broke his reverie. "Papa." He looked up to see Mary approaching with a small basket, smiling. She sat beside him. "I brought you something." "What's that?" he asked warmly. "Just some fresh vegetables and boiled groundnuts," she said. "It's not much." Papa Thomas opened the basket and smiled. "It's everything." "Thank you, my daughter. May God bless your hands." Mary laughed. "Amen, Papa." They sat quietly. Then she leaned closer. "Papa, I have good news." His eyes lit up. "Tell me." "I found land." "You did?" he asked, surprised. "Yes, my uncle's." I told him my plan, and he's letting me use a small plot for farming. Okra, vegetables, enough to start. "That's wonderful. So when do we start?" Mary grinned broadly. "Tomorrow morning, if you're ready." Papa Thomas paused, then shook his head gently. "No," he said calmly. "We can't farm tomorrow." Mary looked puzzled. "Why not, Papa?" "Because," he said, "you're coming to my house tomorrow." She blinked. "Your house? You said you sleep in a shop." He smiled. "Just come. I'll explain everything." She raised an eyebrow. "Papa, are you hiding something?" "I'm hiding peace," he teased. "You'll understand tomorrow." She laughed. "So, when do we farm?" "Let's go by the weekend," he said. She nodded. "All right, but, Papa, you're full of surprises." He pulled a small paper from his pocket. "Here's the address. Don't be late." Mary took it, glanced at it, and shook her head. "Now I'm really curious." She paused, then said shyly, "Papa, I met someone today." Papa Thomas leaned forward. Who? She looked down, smiling. Just a man. Handsome, kind, humble. I like him. The old man's eyes widened. Who is he? I want to meet him, my daughter. Mary laughed. No, Papa, it's not serious yet. Just friends. Still, Papa Thomas said, I'm like your second father now. I need to see him myself. She shook her head playfully. Papa, relax. He grinned. So, we're meeting tomorrow? She hesitated. Yes, Papa. See you tomorrow. See you, my daughter. As she walked away, Papa Thomas whispered, Let tomorrow reveal the truth. That evening, Papa Thomas returned to the quiet mansion. He entered the living room and saw Bernard. Papa, Bernard called. Can I tell you something? Yes, son. I met someone today. Papa Thomas sat, smiling inwardly. You did? Yes, a woman, different from others. Beautiful but simple, intelligent, calm, hardworking. She was farming in the sun. Papa Thomas leaned forward. What's her name? Mary. The old man closed his eyes briefly, smiling. She's the first woman who made me want to listen without rushing, Bernard added. Papa Thomas spoke slowly. I'd like to meet her. You will, Bernard said. Soon. The old man leaned back, smiling. Tomorrow, he thought, you'll meet her in the most surprising way. The next morning, Mary stood before a large black gate, clutching her simple handbag and the address Papa Thomas gave her. She double-checked the number, puzzled. This place is too grand, she whispered. Does Papa Thomas really live here? A security guard stepped out from a side gate. Can I help you? Mary nodded. I'm here to see Papa Thomas. He gave me this address. The guard eyed her, then said, Wait here. He went back inside. Mary gripped her bag tighter, heart racing. Something felt off. She expected a modest home, not a mansion with tall white walls, vibrant flowers, and a sleek driveway. The air felt different. Before she could overthink, the gate opened. Come in, the guard said. Mary walked in slowly, her sandals tapping on the tiled floor. She paused at the entrance, awed by the beauty, clean walls, glass windows, flower pots, and a serene silence. Footsteps sounded. Mary! She turned and froze. It was Bernard, the man from the farm, the one she laughed with, the one she liked. He stood there, simply dressed, but striking. Their eyes met. Bernard, she whispered. He stepped forward, stunned. Mary! She glanced around. You live here. Before he could answer, another voice called, My daughter. She looked past Bernard to see Papa Thomas emerging from the living room, beaming. Mary gasped. Papa! She stepped back. You live here? Papa Thomas chuckled, approaching her. Yes, this is my home. But you said you slept in a shop. He nodded calmly. I wanted to see how people treat me when they think I'm nothing. Mary's eyes darted between Papa Thomas and Bernard. Wait, she said, pointing at Bernard. You're his son? Bernard smiled slowly. Yes, I am. Mary covered her mouth, shocked. I don't understand. Nothing makes sense. Papa Thomas stepped closer. My daughter, I'm sorry for hiding the truth, but you showed me your true heart. You helped me, thinking I was a poor, homeless old man. That's rare. Mary's eyes teared up. You were testing me? No, he said gently. I was observing. Life taught me to watch. Many flatter the rich, but scorn the poor. You did the opposite. You gave me food, offered to farm with me, made me feel valued. She looked at Bernard. And you? Bernard stepped closer. I didn't know either. I met you by chance, never imagining you were the one my father spoke of. She shook her head, tears brimming. This is overwhelming. Papa Thomas smiled. But it's good. No one could say you chased wealth. You followed your heart. Mary looked down. I didn't do anything special. You did, Bernard said softly. You showed kindness to someone you thought had nothing. That's rare and powerful. Silence settled briefly. Papa Thomas broke it. Mary, come inside. You're home now. She looked up, emotional. Are you sure? She asked softly. Bernard offered his hand. Yes, please. She took it, and they walked into the house, no longer strangers, but something deeper, something real. The house was quiet. Papa Thomas had retired to rest, leaving Bernard and Mary in the grand living room. Bernard sat beside her, unsure how to start, but he didn't hesitate long. Mary, he said softly, I don't want to waste time. She looked at him. We just met, he continued. but I feel something powerful, unlike anything before. Mary listened, eyes fixed on him. I love you, Bernard said clearly. From the moment I saw you. She blinked slowly. It's not just admiration or enjoyment. I love your strength, your calm, your confidence, and the fact that my father loves you too is a huge bonus. He leaned forward, voice earnest. Mary, I want to marry you as soon as possible. She was speechless for a moment. I won't lie, she said softly. I love you too. From our first meeting at the farm, I felt peace. I didn't know who you were, but I felt safe. He smiled, heartful. She smiled back. If you truly want to marry me, she said gently, I'll say yes. Bernard took her hand firmly. Thank you. You're the most beautiful, intelligent woman I've ever met, and now you'll be my wife. Mary blushed, then grew serious. There's something I must do first. What? I need to visit my village, tell my parents. They live there. They need to know. Bernard paused, her words sinking in. My parents live in the village. He sat up. No, he said, that won't do. She looked confused. What do you mean? My in-laws can't live in the village while I'm in a mansion, Bernard said firmly. Her eyes widened. I own several houses in the city. I'll give them one. They've toiled enough. It's time they rest. Mary stared, speechless, hands still. You do that for them? Mary, he said, I'm not just marrying you. I'm joining your family. I'll honor them as I honor my father. Tears filled Mary's eyes. No one's ever said that to me, she said. He wiped her tears gently. You're worth it, he said. From today, your struggles are mine. Your joys are mine. Word spread fast in the city. Bernard, the reserve billionaire, was marrying, not a wealthy woman or a celebrity, but a humble, respectful woman named Mary. People were stunned. Some admired his choice. Others were envious. But none were angrier than Vanessa. She heard the news at a spa from a friend. What did you say? Vanessa asked sharply. Yes, her friend said. Bernard's marrying that girl. I heard she's from a village. Vanessa's face contorted, jaw clenched, hands shaking. He can't do this to me. She stormed out, got into her car, seething. That night, she called a rough-looking man named Sko, known for shady jobs. I need you to do something, she said coldly. What? Sko asked. Plant hard drugs in Bernard's office. Once it's there, tip off the police. He'll be arrested, humiliated, jailed. The wedding will collapse. Sko was silent. Vanessa continued. And if you can, ensure that girl Mary never wakes up, and that ugly old man she calls her father-in-law. I want him gone forever. I never want to see his worthless face again. Sko said nothing. She hung up, thinking it was settled. But Vanessa didn't know Sko knew Bernard. Years ago, Bernard helped Sko's sister with a job when no one else would. When their mother was dying, Bernard paid her medical bills and even covered their rent when they faced eviction. Sko sat alone that night, thinking, this is the man you want me to ruin? The one who saved my family? Never. He picked up his phone, called Vanessa again, and recorded the call. Hello, she answered. Repeat the plan. I need details, Sko said. Vanessa laughed cruelly and detailed everything. How to plant the drugs, her desire for Bernard's ruin, and her wish for Mary and Papa Thomas's deaths before the wedding. Sko ended the call and saved the recording. The next morning, Sko walked into Bernard's office. Bernard was busy with wedding plans and work. Sir, I need 10 minutes, Sko said. Bernard looked up. Do I know you? You helped my family years ago. I'm here to repay you. Bernard, puzzled, nodded. Go on. Sko explained everything and played the recording. As Bernard listened, his face changed, heart racing, mouth agape at Vanessa's voice plotting his downfall and the deaths of Mary and his father. When it finished, Bernard leaned back, covering his face. She really wanted to destroy us. Sko nodded. I couldn't let it happen. You don't deserve it. Thank you, Bernard said, shaking his hand. You've saved us. Hours later, police arrested Vanessa at a luxury restaurant where she was flaunting new clothes. What's this about? She shouted. You're under arrest for attempted murder, conspiracy, and drug framing, an officer said. She screamed and cried as they took her away. In court, Vanessa, in a long black dress, feigned innocence. I don't know what they're talking about, she said. I never said that. The judge looked at her, then nodded to an officer. The officer played the recording. Vanessa's voice filled the courtroom, shamelessly detailing her plans, laughing, insulting Papa Thomas as ugly and poor, calling Mary names, and saying, "I want her gone forever." The room fell silent as it ended. All eyes turned to Vanessa. Her mouth fell open, and she began sobbing. "I didn't mean it. I was angry, drunk. It's the devil." The judge raised a hand. "Enough. The devil didn't make you speak. You planned evil and would have succeeded if not for one honest man." She sobbed, "Please, I'm sorry." The judge, unmoved, said, "For jealousy, pride, and wickedness, you'll face the law." Vanessa was sentenced to 15 years in prison without bail. Back at the mansion, Bernard shared everything with Mary. She was shocked but grateful. "That could have been our end," she whispered. Bernard hugged her. "But it's not, because good people exist, like Sco, like you." That weekend, they traveled to Mary's village. Bernard knelt before her parents. "I want to marry your daughter. From today, I want you to leave the village. Come to the city. I have a house ready for you. You've worked hard enough. It's time to rest." Mary's mother wept. Her father blessed Bernard joyfully. A month later, Bernard and Mary wed in a beautiful, joyful ceremony. After, they flew off for their honeymoon, walking hand in hand on a beach, laughing barefoot in the sand. "I still can't believe this is real," Mary said softly. Bernard smiled. "It's real, and it's forever.